Hi there, and welcome to Oribi's product webinar about how you can best optimize your main online conversions. My name is Sam, and I'm one of the conversion optimization specialists here at Oribi. First of all, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day for joining us for this webinar. I'd like to give you a little context as to why we decided to put this together. Basically, after working with thousands of different clients from all different types of industries, everything from digital marketing agencies to e-commerce sites to SaaS platforms, we wanted to put together the best practices that we've learned and share them with you. With that said, I'd like to share my screen and dive right into it. I'd like to start off by talking about the results and basically what you can expect to learn by the end of this webinar. First of all, we'll discuss automated event tracking, and it's one of the big differentiators with Oribi is basically with one simple line of code, we're analyzing 100% of events on your site, so all clickable actions, all buttons, as well as all unique pages are automatically collected for you. You simply select what's important, and from there, the sky is the limit. Second, learn where you're losing potential clients. So we'll talk about a few different features, for example, funnels, understanding in common customer flows on your website, where are you losing the most potential converting business. Third, marketing channel contribution to conversions. So many of us are managing marketing budgets in the tens, if not hundreds of thousands of US dollars, potentially millions. And we really want to make sure that the marketing channels we're investing in, whether they are Google paid, Google organic, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, that they're not just bringing window shoppers to the website, but really customers that will go through the whole process and inevitably convert. Fourth, we'll look at improving key pages. So understanding where the traffic is arriving from, which pages, how the buttons on those pages are performing, how they're converting based off of different devices, and so forth, really making sure that your key pages are helping you to convert more traffic into customers. And lastly, and this is personally my hope for the webinar, is that by the end, you'll already have some tips and easy wins that you can go back to your organization and implement right away in order to improve and optimize your marketing strategies. Quickly run through the agenda. The webinar will be about 20 minutes, and just to give you a nice understanding or overview of what to expect. The first is we're going to pick one main goal, and this will tie into Oribi's optimization formula, which we'll talk about in a minute once we dive into the platform. But basically, pick one goal to use as an example for this webinar. Then we'll look at 4 powerful optimization features. We actually, by the way, might look at a couple more. We'll see. The first is marketing channels. So again, making sure that we're investing in channels that bring converting traffic. Second, we'll look at funnels, understand where we might be losing potential customers. Third, event correlations, making sure that our micro conversions, such as blog posts, newsletter signups, etc., are positively correlated with our main conversion metric so that they are helping us to convert traffic. And lastly, we'll look at visitor journeys as well. So going from the big picture to the granular and seeing if we can draw any specific insights from our users. Once we walk through the platform, we'll basically conclude the webinar, and from there, what are the next best steps? So we'll talk about if you found the webinar helpful, where we should move on from here. So the place I like to start first is with this button right here, pin an event. And before I click in there, really, I want to talk about why Oribi is different. So there are many web analytics and marketing analytics tools out there on the market today, and I'm sure Oribi is not the first tool you've looked at. So why Oribi is different really ties back into the automated event tracking. So with one simple line of code, Oribi's tracking code, you install it onto your website and it applies to all pages. That code is then analyzing all the events and displaying them for you within the interface. So all you have to do is click pin an event, and you have access to every single clickable action on your website. No more setting up goal tracking or triggers. Simply a click of a button and a 4 or 5 step click process, you can capture the event that you care about the most. For this example, I'd like us to use the contact button. And the reason for this, and I want to use this as an opportunity to mention Oribi's optimization formula. And what does that mean? So most websites have one main call to action. For our example, we'll look at the contact button. Though if you're an e-commerce site, it could be the checkout button. If you're an agency, maybe it's the contact form or form submission. If you're a SaaS platform, request a demo, and so forth. You know your business best. There's probably one main button on your website. That's the main conversion metric. So for us, it's the contact button. Below that, we have all the micro conversions, which we briefly mentioned earlier. So blog posts, newsletters, and so forth, maybe the pricing page, aspects on your website that the hope is the people who visit those pages or perform those actions are more likely to convert. Below that, we have the marketing channels that we leverage to bring traffic to the website that we want to inevitably convert. So over the course of this webinar, we'll look at our main conversion metric, micro conversions that are helping to drive this conversion, as well as which channels are best to invest in to bring traffic that inevitably clicks contact. So let's go ahead, click pin this event. We then have the option to group events, and this is part of the magic of the platform, is really with one click, you can capture every single button on your website that meets this criteria. And right here, you can see that we've grouped all of those buttons by their link. Here are all the different buttons that bring to the same destination and all the pages that they exist on. Then we click next, give it a name, and click save. And that's it. If you've ever set up goal tracking or triggers previously, this is a good reference point to keep in mind. Now that we've set up the goal, let's dive deep how this event is converting and what are all the key metrics and stats surrounding the contact button. So how we do that is we click explore button clicks and contact. 2 clicks. Oribi is then going to bring all the information around that button into one place. And instantly we can see all the pages that this button exists on, how many unique visitors have clicked this button, and the conversion rate. It's important to note here that the conversion rate is defined by the total number of unique people who have clicked this button divided by the total number of unique visitors who have seen this button, as opposed to other visitors who may have been on other parts of the website. So an important differentiator there that these people actually saw the button, and therefore we include them in the conversion rate. Below that, we have performance over time. So try and understand what are the trends of this button over, let's say a 30-day period. So for example, we can see key traffic peaks, new pages, if there was a holiday, as well as a weekend. And we actually notice there's a dip in traffic every time there's a weekend, which gives us context to the numbers. So if someone ever asks us, hey, why did traffic decrease on X day to X day, you know that it's simply a trend, nothing to worry about, and you can move on to something else. Next, we have conversion by top channels. So this ties back into the optimization formula. It's that third layer of what are the best channels to invest in to bring traffic to the website that inevitably converts. And right here we can see Google Organic, Instagram, Facebook. And actually what's note here is that even though Google Organic brings the most unique clicks as opposed to say Instagram has a higher conversion rate than Google Organic, which is something we should take into consideration, when we're debating if we should be investing in optimizing our keywords and search engine optimization, or if we should be running more ads on Instagram. Below that, we have conversion by device, so making sure that this button and our website in general are optimized for mobile, desktop, and tablet. That way people who come to the website through their respective platforms are still likely to convert. Next, we have conversion by pages. So as opposed to looking at just the top pages, we want to see every page that this button exists on and how they're converting. So we have a side-by-side view here of all of these buttons on the pages, how many unique clicks they received, and their conversion rate. So we can start to understand which page do we want our traffic to visit in order to more likely convert. It can also be an interesting way to run A/B testing, for example. You can try different labels, different colors, locations of buttons on different pages, and see which one performs best. Next, we have by location, country, US state, and city to make sure that you're putting your PPC campaigns, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, and so forth in front of the right audience that is that much more likely to convert based off of historical trends. Lastly, and I really like to emphasize this section, is the by session conversion, really because it ties into retargeting. So we all know that the more a potential customer sees our ad or visits our website, the more likely they are to convert. But this brings the question of how many times does the user need to visit our website before they convert and before there's a diminishing return on investment for our marketing efforts. Right here with 1 click, 2 clicks, and a scroll to the bottom, you have the answer to that question. 88% of our traffic converts after one session, 6.2% after two sessions, the remaining 2% by their third session. So by the third time a user has come to our website, we have more or less a 96% conversion rate for the contact button. So then I can go back to my team and say, hey, should we retarget those users and try to get the remaining 4%? Or should we take that marketing budget and invest in attracting net new leads and try to convert more traffic that way? The next section I'd like us to come to is funnels. Funnels are also really helpful because very often on our websites, there's a common flow that we want our traffic to take. This also ties into microconversions because let's take, for example, what we already have set up here, all visits pricing page sign up. The pricing page is an example of a microconversion, and we want to make sure that the traffic that visits the pricing page does inevitably sign up. Here we see only a 3% conversion, so this actually for us could be a red flag that somewhere in this step of the funnel is the issue, and here's where we want to run A/B testing, apply some research, figure out what the issue is, and if we can increase this percentage by even 2, 3, 4, 5%, that could mean thousands or tens of thousands of dollars for for the bottom line. Let's go ahead and build a funnel together. We click Create a New Funnel, and we simply select the number of steps that are relevant for this funnel. I always like to start with all visits. And again, because Oribi is tracking 100% of events, we have all visits and all button clicks at our disposal. The next step I would like us to use is going to be the pricing page. Really because I want to make sure that people who visit the pricing page do inevitably convert, just like we saw here in the sign-up funnel. The next step, of course, for us is contact. So I want to see, all right, so what we're going to display here, the total number of users, and the actual percentage from step to step. So we have about a quarter of our traffic arriving at the pricing page, but only 6% follow through to the final conversion. That tells me this step is where we're having a problem. So we should probably run some A/B testing on maybe the label of the button, its location, its color. Maybe we need to include some copy on this page to reinforce the value to our visitors for why they should continue through and convert, and so forth. Just to note, you do have multiple domain tracking if your conversion flow moves across multiple domains, and you can add filters. So if you want to look at a specific country, platform, or channel, or UTM parameter, you have that functionality as well. The next feature I'd like us to come to is event correlations. The reason I like to mention event correlations is because it's a great way to query the platform about your website and understand how a microconversion is helping you to drive your main conversion. For example, our visitors who visit let's take the help center, for example. I don't know about you, but we may have spent a lot of time, money, effort, energy optimizing our help center, adding questions, trying to answer questions that our potential customers are asking. And let's compare this with our main goal that we're using for this example. Ideally, I want there to be a positive correlation here. In this case, I notice it's 3% less likely. This for me is a red flag that something with our help center is not having a positive correlation with the contact button. Maybe we're not answering the right questions. Maybe there isn't a call to action here. Maybe it's the wrong call to action. Maybe the help center isn't easy to navigate. Maybe people are getting lost. There are many questions for what the answer could be, but the value at the end of the day here is now we know there's a problem, which maybe we didn't know before, and now we can focus our efforts to fix something that if we can make this a positive number, that's low-hanging fruit, an easy win for the business, and a great way to increase conversions. The next area I'd like us to come to is attribution. Attribution, as many of you know, is a very hot topic in marketing for an obvious reason, and we're going to go here and click the contact button. Again, was 1 click, 2 clicks, and Oribi is now analyzing all of the events over the defined time period. What we're looking at is this button. What was the best channel for first, middle, and last touch in order to get users to convert? So first of all, here we have the breakdown of single touch points and multiple touch points, the breakdown for single touch conversions by channel, and right here we can see, again, 1 click, 2 click, and a scroll. We have the best channels here for the first touch, so starting the relationship with our customers, the best channels for the middle touch, so nurturing our customers over time, and the best channels for the last touch. So really we have the full digital story for our customers across multiple marketing channels from which they came to our website and then inevitably converted. And this can be really helpful for justifying marketing spend in, say, social campaigns that are really useful for starting the journey but maybe not closing it, as well as making sure that we have the right messaging in the different channels because they're relevant to different steps of the buyer journey. Another important thing to note here is we do have an attribution calculator. So since every business is different, you want to make sure that the weight you apply to each channel is relevant for your business. Right here, I really recommend the custom filter or custom calculator because you can select the exact weight that best reflects your business model. And you'll see the weights are on the right changing. The next feature I'd like us to come to is channels, just to show you the breakdown here within this table. For any business, it's paramount to make sure that we're investing in channels that bring traffic that actually converts and doesn't just window shop. So right here, we can see all of the events that we've pinned from our website and how they're performing across different channels and the conversion rate. So we can instantly see, all right, Instagram and Facebook, that's where I should be putting my money, as opposed to maybe Twitter, for example. We also have UTMs right here so that you can see exactly how the source, medium, and campaigns are performing of your specific ads. So for those of you who don't know, UTMs are basically these parameters that you can add to the end of your URL to track the success of a specific email campaign, Facebook ad, Instagram ad, and so forth, to really make sure that the right ads are not just getting good click-through rates and the emails have good open rates, but really they're bringing traffic to the website that inevitably converts. Right there, we can see the side-by-side conversion rates, reports. And the reason I think reports is so important is because it can be such a time saver for agencies as well as a variety of other businesses. Let's go ahead and click into an example. Reports here basically take all of the funnels that you've set up, event correlations, events that you've pinned, and brought them together into a auto-generated holistic report. These reports bring everything together. So we have trends, insights, channels based off the pinned events that we've created, funnels that we've created, event correlations, all visits, everything all together. You can really design this to include your company logo, the color that matches your brand, and the right graphics to tell your story. The really powerful thing though here at the end of the day, and I'd like to use an agency example here, is let's say you have 20 clients and you're spending 1 to 2 hours a week creating reports for your clients. With Oribi, because they're auto-generated and you can send these out automatically at once a week, once a day, once a month, this could easily be a great way to save 20 or 40 hours of time that you could then invest in acquiring more customers or putting more effort into the clients that you have today. We've reviewed one main goal, in our case it was the contact button, 4 powerful optimization features, and a few others. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to join me for this webinar. I hope you had a great time, as much as I did. And if you really did find the webinar helpful and informative, hopefully we raised some questions that maybe you haven't asked before. There are 2 best next steps to take. The first is installing Oribi's tracking code onto your site. It takes about 2 minutes, and we have guides and explanations on our help center, as well as myself and my colleagues are here to help. Once you have the code installed, you can log into your account and analyze all of the events for yourself. The other option is to schedule a demo with either myself or one of the other optimization experts here at Oribi. We're happy to walk you through your own platform, analyze your actionable insights, and really help you build funnels, pin events, and get the most out of the platform. If you have any questions or want to contact us, team@oribi.io is the best email to use. With that said, thank you very much again for taking the time with me today. Hope you have a great rest of your day.